All right, let's get into today's lesson. AK47 over at Deckmar Trades via Tradecaster.com. Josh Smith Official, Prime Trading here on Instagram. And yes, it's that hot. We're starting to do videos back-to-back, days sometimes. If not a recap of back-to-back days in one video, going multiple times in 1 week. You're getting these recaps now, and a lot of it's because of this. We're seeing stocks not only hold their gains like we were talking about, right? Getting these initial surges, and they do sometimes fall off. But look at this, into the lunch hours, now holding our gains still up over 100% on the day. We've gotten this previous days. Now, we'll go over all these crazy trend lines in my alerts in a minute, but recently we have seen some great runs. I mean, RHE recently, right? And one of the crazy mover recently. Look at this yesterday. I went over this and did the recap on it, and before I was even done, maybe I did. I can't remember if I watched it when I ran up to 27 when I did the recap recently, but look at this move. From $10 essentially, right, all the way up to 27 yesterday. Beautiful movers holding their gains, going well over 100%. And going for multiple days, right? I mean, RHE, that's one that we've been looking at for a while. I mean, literally, as you can see, it's not like we just started playing it yesterday when we went from 10 to 27. We've been playing this since last Friday when I went live. That's right. Join me on Fridays when I go live for the man, Sean Deckmar, over on Tradecaster.com. We saw this go from $5 up to, literally right at one point in time was hitting 100% on the dot. Like in power hour, nonetheless. Of course, giving back gains. Then again, though, on Monday, we're looking at this play again, holding its gains. Something that, RHE is not known to do, which if I forgot maybe to do that and read my recap. I did, I think maybe when I was going over this play. But look why RHE usually, every time, I think maybe I did, but every time gives back gains. Finally, though, doing something a little differently here. Holding its gains recently. And so that bodes well into what we're running into today. So let's get into the alerts from LEDS. So early on, crazy mover. Get into some of my first alerts. And I'm waiting for this. Where's the mob going to move to? Where's the mob going to move to? Now, the other stock I did trade, I'll get into this one actually first. MNRD. I got into this one first. Very, rangy stock. I can't, didn't go back far enough to screenshot my plays or my alerts. But when this ran to $14, I want an immediate pullback. Crazy red candle. And I got filled right here at 13.13. Great fill over on Lightspeed. Beautiful bounce play. Went straight up. Boom. Right into new high of day. I think I sold the rest of my shares in this 14.73 area. I was like, hey, that's close enough to 15. And then boom, I was like, watch, it's going to run more. And sure enough, it does. But then look at that, tanks back on over. Not one to hold its gains today. But I did get an MRD. We'll go over RHE, actually, I think, here in just a little bit. But let's go over our two crazy runners real quick. LEDS, like I said, early on in the day, and get to my first alert over here in chat, which you're getting in chat. So you're getting this up. This is an hour in. I'm still alerting, baby. Going after it, which a lot of people are. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing in. And then you can tell I'm staying longer in the chat if I'm still alerting at 9:30, and I could only go back so far to screenshot these. So 10, of course, talking about the $10 resistance, and what's so funny, earlier on I alerted it. Now I couldn't screenshot it. It went back so far, but me and Deck both wanted a pullback. When this was hitting new high of day to this 260, I had my order entry at 262. I had it set right there at the top of those candles. The VWAP was there. The trend line is now there. I have it already set in. I'm like, okay, 262. That's right below. Give me a little bit lower. Of course, look what it hits. Move this out of the way. I think it's 269 or 769. It's 769. There's the L. L's the low. 769 in that candle. Oh, my feel wasn't hit. It was so sad because this is all I was wanting. I wanted to move back into the 875 area, and I would have probably honestly sold most of my shares there. I would have. Look what this monster keeps doing. All right, so anyway, so I'm crying. I'm crying right there, literally. So over $10, and I'm saying this at 32 after right here. It's before it kind of comes down, and I'm saying this right here. I'm saying if this surges over 10, it's going to hit 100% on the day almost right away. Right there, I was hovering around 80% in that 980, 970 range. I'm like, if this surges over $10, it's going to 100% on the day, like right away. Boom, within a minute. Look at that, straight up into testing 100% on the day. And then boom, you got my point, 2 minutes of me alerting that, boom, there's your 100% on the day. Right there, at right around the $11 range, right here, it was hitting $11, or I should say it was hitting 100% on the day. Now, LEDS, what I was looking for too. I wanted, again, what did I just got on MRD earlier? I wanted a huge red candle, did I not? Or what I was wanting, essentially, exactly. And so I was in and out with this spike. I didn't want to pull back, but I saw momentum, saw the surge coming in, right? So MNRD, I wanted a pullback. With this one, I didn't want to pull back because I knew if this surges over 10, it's going to do exactly what it's kind of done when it surges over resistance areas. And especially hitting over 10, I knew it was something like this was going to happen, right? So I just got in and out of that play, 500 shares. I was just in and out. Nothing major there, was just in and out of that play. And again, LED, this is the time to get in. That's what I was telling people. Look at this. And I'm saying this at 36 after, and let's see how far this runs. At 36 after, I'm saying get in this play now. Right here, it's halted up. So it's halted up. You know what? You know, get a great pullback here, which we'll get into this play in a second. But again, get in this play while we're spiking, right? And like, this is the time to get in. You know, I'm yelling at the team, essentially. LEDS, here we go. So it's halted up. 37 after. So this is a minute after it's halted up. Look for a pullback to the $11 area, and then I kind of readjust that. As you can see, I go back to 1080. But essentially, let's go back to L, and I'm letting, that's the main alert out of this right here. You know, looking for to get in for a second time, like in MRD. One last trade for me. I was trying to get in another trade. Look for a pullback out of the halt to 1080. This is at 41 after. So we're still halted. We'll see. We don't come live until, well, this is right before it comes on, you know, literally. Of course, what I'm letting everyone know right after that soon team, if 5-minute halt. 1080 to $11 area. Look where this hits. Now it goes down a little further, but you get easily could have gotten filled at 1080 there. Right up to 12. Holds it again with another dip down. Skyrockets the new high of day. And now I'll admit, and you can see, look for, and on the next one here, I was a little sketched out there. That upper shadow, oh, I didn't take a screenshot of that. I guess I thought it was on the next one down. But that upper shadow was steep. It was steep, team. I should say it was a huge upper shadow. Of course, I'm looking at this trend line here. I'm saying two things at once. But that upper shadow was nasty. And so I was scared. You know, it came out, spiked up, came down. So it was doing real rangy stuff. And you easily could have gotten your order filled. You just would have had to hold to it. And I should have. Should have easily held into that. It's all right. Not worried about it. It's okay. I'll get back into it. So then I'm letting the team know at 45 after, because now I've put it in. Let's get to about 45 after when this comes down to. Look at that. Trend line is getting steep, team. Trend line is around 1040. You know, I've got mine I went a little higher, but trend line, and then look at the trend line crack. Look at the trend line crack. I'm alerting that. Like, hey, the trend line, I'm alerting that right as it's happening. Trend line's getting steep. Trend line's around 1040 team, or 1140 team. 11, watch out. Watch for the trend line crack. Watch for the trend line crack. It's around 1140. Whammy. I mean, we go straight down to 1082 and literally almost a candle and a half, essentially, right? Off the trend line crack. And then we go all the way down eventually to about 1057. A full dollar, you know, almost a full dollar crack from the short. You know, and you got to get in and out of that. I mean, take your quick 60 cents you get. You know, if you get 50 cents, boom. Loved it. And then here we go. Off of the new trend line that we're starting to form here. You know, one, you know, starter, you know, somewhere in here this has got to be in, which I didn't at the time. And that's when I put it in going, oh, that was it. Tis was it. So I missed that. You know, I missed that play. Let's keep going into some more of these alerts. We'll get into, let's see. And it's still, of course, here I'm saying again, man, that LEDS is killing me. We'll get into RHE here in a minute. There's more RHE right there. Here's LEDS. All right, so now we're back. Yeah, so 51 after. I'm back to 51. Right there. Trend line back up is around high of day. So the trend line back up is around, now it was a little bit higher because I took it off for a second. I thought it was maybe gonna be done. It's gonna come down more. I had to put it back up and realize before I really put it in, it was really the trend line up was around that 1250 area. So that's what, and again though, trend line back up is around high of day area. And that's when I readjusted it and said that. See, at 951, when I readjusted my trend line, I'm like, whoa, this is perfect. Double whammy area essentially is what I'm saying. Trend line back up is around the high of day area, so room back over 12. So I'm letting everyone know, and it got a little bit. It was a little overextended there, but then eventually look how the trend line, look where it keeps going to, and that's what I'm pretty much kind of keep alerting the team here, where the trend lines are at, right? You know, trying to show where the trend lines are at. And then I'm yelling, and then finally Deck puts one in about 55 right here, 55 after, because see, then it touches it again. And again, sketchy plays, but this is what holds trades up when we got that hot fire, right? Traders come in, buy it up, whammy, up to new high of day. What do we run into though, team? Old resistance. I love it, the old high of day, you know, right? The old trend line up. Boom, said it had room to old trend line up, which is now 1340 area, you know, 56 after. So I'm alerting that as it's shooting up. And look where that hits, 1344. So that you get my point. There's where I'm kind of letting the team know you've got to keep those in. And then look what happens when we crack the trend line again, baby. Beautiful halt down. You get in at the trend line crack anywhere around the $12 mark. Even if you get on this lower shadow, you're like, okay, cool. You know, I'm a good 12, 15 cents, at least if not maybe 20, close to at least 10 to 15 from the trend line, right? That's fine. Look where it hits right back up too, even though it shoots right back up. You're good. You're golden. Right back down we go, baby. You know, it's almost a dollar flush and halt down. And then we're trying to hold this old trend line, right? And then eventually that kind of cracks, but doesn't finally crack off, but does eventually. So even if you went short there, it takes it a while, right? Does form this channel, so you have to be very careful for the squeeze and back over this, like, say, to 1150, 1160 mark. You got to get out. But still, though, you know, you crack it finally, probably right through here. This is where it finally cracked if you would have extended that line, you know, right around this area. And look what happens. Look, I'll just go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and extend to the right. So when you extend that to the right there, look what happens. So see, and we run right back into that. But now LEDS, you know, starting to come back in. I'm going to get rid of these because, you know, we're not running any. These are just so far gone. That is so steep now. Just not going to happen, right? They are good for the time being. They held their supports, held their resistance perfectly. We cracked off from that last one. And now we're in what? We could just put a line across in right here. I'll use a crosshair. So we have that 12 and still like earlier, 1160 to about 1175 top resistance, you know, right where those upper shadows are hitting. And then the bottom one, which I just called this one out literally in chat just when I got back in a second ago. I called it out somewhere in here. You know, hey, it's not a steep trend line. It's more of a support line, but it's essentially the 1065 mark as the bottom of it. Look what that hit, 1068. Here's your L again, your low, 1068. And I always put area, and I did, but it just needs to squeeze out of that and back up through 12. Now, LEELL, wow, I'm having trouble with this one. LXX, I can't, there we go again. LEXX, it's just, you know, Lex Luger, Lex, LEXX. LEXX Lex. All right, here we go. Getting tighter and tighter and what? Same thing. This little wedge where you have this top resistance area of 850. The very top portion is essentially 875. Work on our way up. This is more of a more steep trend line, right? This has an actual trend line in it, making a wedge here. You know, if you put a line in, here's your starter. Here's where you put it in because now it's bounced. So your trend line in goes boop, 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 and literally, look what squeezed off of the trend line again here. And now we're getting tighter and tighter in this, and this is what we're looking at in chat. And we need to squeeze out of this soon. If we do not squeeze out at 875 and pop soon, you don't have much room because now the trend line's here at about the 820 mark. So you only have the 820-ish, you know, 815 to 820 to work with. And this is going to keep going up because it's a trend line. So that's going to keep going up with it. But again, great play to be had today. I mean, again, 2 plays that are holding their gains into the lunch hours. Hopefully they'll hold into power hour. Now, REH. I actually played this one today. You know, going, again, we knew this one could go crazy, being it was going crazy a couple of days ago. Let's get into my alerts from earlier. You know, 921 here, of course, this is about as far back as I could go. This is where other people see. I could only go back so far because my alerts are kind of lost right in here. Here's when I'm still, you know, complaining and bitching about LEDS and missing my bounce. Here. AK-47 though at 920, you know, at 920, this finally gets the skyrocket through the VWAP. Now we're taking off to new high of day. So now when we're coming back down here, where we at 920, watch for VWAP bounce next. So in this, because it was still before, this was before it even hit that. And so I was like, oh, so close, so close. But I'm going to leave it in because it's still, you know, I think it get one more quick little touch down below. You know, I think it could. So again, 820, or I should say 920. We're just waiting for it, right? Just waiting for my play. I'm like, almost got it. Almost got it. And now we can get back to all AK-47 alerts here. I thought I'd minimize this one or X'd it out. Anywho, but REH, here we go at 24 after. And I'm letting everyone know I just got in. Boom. VWAP bounce in small. 500 shares. Boom. Boom, boom. Let everyone know. Got filled perfectly on the dot. The low there was 1636. The VWAP at the time, as you can see, was 1336. Perfect fill. And I guess I did get a weird 1637 entry, you know, because it was not a full 1636, even though I put the 1636 and it was like a 16, whatever it was, a weird 1636 point. Anyway, not point, but then 1636, 565, you know, whatever it was. So it was clean. I just called it 1637. Anyway, regardless, and let everyone know because I want to start doing this, and I didn't on a lot of the trades today, but I did on this one, where when I try to alert right away when I'm in and where my stop loss was at. And I saw 1620 as a good area. I didn't want to give it down to 1610, then down to 16, which you could, and then of course this 1690 is literally super bottom support if anyone just wanted that, which then it cracked through all those, as you can see. And as you can see, the 1620 area is what I was wanting. Didn't even have to worry about sticking to that because whammy, filled right away, right on up. I mean, right on up. You know, right boom into this candle. I was out some. Into the next candle, as you can see, whammy was really loving it here. Was thinking it was about to start taking off. You know, immediately got 60 cents out of it. Was thought it was going to start taking off. The 2, and here we go. Here's another great alert. 27 after, because here's another chance to get in. If you could have had, you had to probably market order in there. Another VWAP bounce, but at 27 after, there's deck right there. But look. A little bit on, yeah, okay, anyway. But here we go. As you can see, 27 after, as you can see my alert, 27 after, 2 lower shadows on VWAP, watch for push. We immediately, and that's the thing that they'll killed it, but we immediately get a push right up. You know, right when I alert that at 27 after, whammy. Look at that at 27 after, it got even higher, and then I got out even more there, and I was like, let's go. And of course, though, we form then two. I mean, it's like back and forth, right? Lower shadow, upper shadow, lower shadow, upper shadow, back and forth. And that's what killed it. If that would have surged right, there with a big full body candle back through 17, hit 722, 1740, that's when we're back up. But when it did that, that's where I took more off the plate. Plus, it was, good, and that's where the next one I didn't screenshot. But after that, I was down to 100 shares, and my stop loss then was moved up to my entry, the VWAP. And as soon as I hit the VWAP, I was out. I was like, this isn't going to bounce again. This is going to, and boom, look at that crack right on over. So again, just kind of stick to those. And again, great little red to green move. Boom, whammy, get in somewhere. And I was just in a quick little bounce play right in there. Plenty of bounce plays to be had. Just got to find your areas and stick to them. But again, just wanting to show you my alerts, what we're doing over at tradecaster.com, deck, like right now, coming back in at lunch hours. You can see, well, you don't know when I'm working. Well, as you can see, it's right here. I'm recording this, 12, 13, it's middle of the day. This is lunch hours. We're 4 hour to open, so this is 1:20 Dex time. He doesn't go live for another 2 hours or another hour and a half. No, not another hour and a half. Another hour and a half or so. But here he is. Something's going crazy, and here's what it is. We're looking at LEDS now. Halted down. So something happened here. I don't know if they're going to release an offering. They could, but whammy out of nowhere. It could have just been everyone finally selling, and it cracked this 1065 area, which is huge support. And then there you go, back down to 10. And this needs to hold here out of the halt or somewhere in this area and bounce back up. 1065, I could see a bounce somewhere in that area, like right there. Needs to hold that, or down probably in this area, the 930s. AK47, get over to tradecaster.com. Join me live tomorrow, as usual, taking over for the man, Sean Deckmar. See you there.